So right now we're charging the beans. This means they're in the hopper, warming up prior to dropping them into the drum. Over here we're looking at the hot air temp and our bean temperature. And with the bean temp, which is the airflow is at 200, the bean temperature, which is the spinning part of the drum, is going to be at 195 before we drop the beans. We start at a lower temperature, that way when we do drop them, they don't scorch right away. We give them time to, the temperature will drop dramatically as soon as we drop them, probably down to like 135, 140, and then we wait for it to get back to 195. That's going to give us like our browning phase. So I'll dry them out, turn them yellow, and then we crank the heat, crank the airflow, just a little bit at a time until we get up to about 210. We should be having...
I think that was a Galaxy. I'm not sure. It's like our first time doing one of these. I think that was like a gift.
Oh, somebody sent something to us? Awesome, thank you guys so much. So you can see here we have our timer set at 13 minutes. We don't want to go past that. Most likely we're going to, once the beans are in there and roasting, we're going to drop around probably 10 and a half minutes, depending on how well it goes. This is our signal source Indonesian, so Joy, you'll know this one. This is our Astral Abyss. And we also use this with our Mocha Java. We use a blend of the Indonesian Java, and we use our Ethiopian Kurdish chef. And we do about a 40-60 ratio on that to get our Mocha Java. These are what we spent the last couple days doing. That is our Ethiopian there. Smells delicious.
It's our 10-degree warning. So we're charging the beans at 195 today? Charging the beans to 195? Is that what
Yeah, so we're charging the beans to 195. If you can see up in the hopper, they're still there, sitting, soaking. So we do encourage you guys to ask any questions, so hopefully you'll stick along for the entirety of this roast. One roast takes about 10 to 15 minutes, but we'd like to stay a little longer. We're also going to be announcing the winner of last week's duel between Vlad. What was Vlad?
Dark roast blackberry.
Dark roast blackberry, and our gourd father, our pumpkin praline. So we have the tally in. We'll get you guys that information at the end of the roast. So right now I'm looking at the temp and it's having a hard time climbing. So what I'm going to do is we have a hot air adjustment here, and I want to turn up the hot air just a little bit, and as you can see, the more I turn it up, it starts climbing a little bit. We're still trying to get to that charge temp of 195. And for those of you who are interested, we are working on our new merch line. We have a couple shirts up already. This week we're going to be working on our new Dracula shirt, Gruesome. And if you guys have any suggestions of things that you might like to see on the shirt, let us know. Yeah, we're definitely looking at doing the whole Universal Monster line. We think that going classic in that regard for the shirts will draw people in, get people interested. Not ready to drop. All right, here we go. So the tip was at 195 when I dropped. You can see it's rapidly dropping right now. Like I said, our temps went down to about 140. It's still going down a little bit. So we keep the airflow low, we keep the drum speed high, and we just wait for that to level out and then start climbing back up to 195. So guys, we just had a question. How many times do you do it at one time? So with this particular roaster, we have the ability to do up about 3.5 pounds at a time. What we have found through trial and error that our sweet spot is about 2 pounds at a time. So we just dumped in 2 pounds of beans, green, 2 pounds of green. Once we get done with the roasting and we actually pull them away, then it's going to be about 1 pound, what was 13 ounces or something, like 12 ounces?
1 pound 10.
So we lose a little bit because it's all water. These are water heavy beans. The green beans are full of liquid, and what we're trying to do is pull that liquid out and get that smokiness in there. With this being Astral Abyss, our single source Indonesian, it's going to take a little longer. So I was thinking that we were doing gazillion for some reason about 10:13, but we're actually going to be looking at closer to the 15-minute mark because we have what's called first crack and second crack. First crack is when you,
He'll be able to hear something else.
with the first crack, that's when all the moisture's out and the bean's starting to actually crack along the seam. When that happens, that's within about 1 or 2 minutes for a medium roast. That's when we drop the beans and let the beans run. But with the Indonesian signal one, after this being dark enough, we're going to go to the second crack. Now that means the beans will be so dry that they'll crack the second time, and it'll start to, all the oils in the beans will start to rise to the surface. So with a medium roast, you don't really get the oils that rise to the surface. You still get those oils in the bean that give kind of the flavor profile. When you get in that second crack and you get that sheen on the bean, that oily sheen, that's when you're going to get that darkness, that smokiness, almost the espresso flavor. The dark roast that we enjoy, the actual roast, the espresso. You try to do Ethiopia a little darker than you do. You kind of lose all the flavor. Lighter roast, especially, Ethiopia, you kind of citrusy backbone with a little bit of chocolate in there. You get to the medium, maybe a dark roast, more of that chocolate comes out, which is why people sing with mocha. There's the chocolate added to it, but it's just the flavor of the Ethiopian bean. So it does take quite a bit of time for it to climb back up to temperature. It went all the way down to about 110. We're only now at about 160. So like I said, this being a bigger bean, it's thicker, it's more dense. It's going to take longer for it to come back up to temperature. It's going to take longer for us to actually get through the roast to get that darkness that we want on it.
So charging the bean just tries to get it up to the temperature of the roaster before it's dropped. It's so we don't have that massive drop in temperature when new beans are added.
And we did have a massive drop this first batch that we did because it was the first batch, nothing was in it. We had only just warmed up the roaster, so it's still actually warming up. So this will take a little longer than the next drop will actually take probably 2 to 3 minutes less. So I just had a really good question. What maintenance process goes through after each roast? So with this roast, we're going to go through a good portion of this bag and not really have to do anything. But over here you can see this is our shaping tray. So we have to clean that out after every roast that we do, which that doesn't mean one roast at a time. It means the bag of 15 to 20 pounds that we're going to go through. This holds up all the shells of the beans that keep flaking off, and we clean that every time. And then here, the little spinning diode that you see, we have to actually take that off, wipe it down, clean it, and we have to use a food-grade silicone to re-lubricate that. We have to do that about once a week. And then everything else, we just take, we have another shaping tray right here. All the burnt pieces fall down into here. We clean that after each week. And with the actual, everything that's rose-colored, we just use a damp cloth really and wipe it down after every use. Here in the tray, we have to wipe it down because we're going to get shaping from the beans spinning and
Which also gets pulled into this.
And we have to make sure that we get that, we vacuum that out with a little hand vac, and then we wipe it down with a moist damp cloth and let it dry. So the cleaning process isn't difficult, it takes just a few minutes. But some people we've seen that they don't do the greasing of the diode for a month at a time. We prefer to, keep up on it. The shaping tray, honestly, we could empty once a week, but again, we want to keep up on it. We don't want to forget about it. We're kind of in a routine of all the things that we do.
I just emptied it right before we started, but I'm sure it's already spinning around in here.
Yeah, exactly. We do all that so Rose looks as beautiful as she is. Even though she says sinister, she's very gruesome.
So, as you can see, we've passed the yellowing stage. It's getting a little darker here.
This is our little check one that we can see how the beans look up close. So another good question, do we do this every day? We don't have to do this every day. We try to have at least 15 to 20 pounds of any bean on hand at any given time for orders. And that's usually about what goes out a week, about 20 pounds. When we start to get down to about 5 pounds, that's when we start to roast again. Thanks to Joy and Ian, love you guys. Our Astral Abyss is down to about a 5-pound bag. So that's what we're doing today. We're doing some more Astral Abyss.
But this is also what we use for our Mothman Mocha. This and a mix of our Ethiopian, which we roasted the day before yesterday.
So it can be very tedious. We do sit here, when we roast, we're here probably for a few hours at a time, and it is just a constant looking at the temperature, looking at how fast it's climbing. We don't want it to climb too fast, but we want it to get up to temp.
What's the second temp that you're looking for right now after the 195?
So at 195, we got up to the charge temp. It actually just went down a little bit. There we go. We're going to actually change it now up to 202, low and slow. So we usually don't go above 210 for the hot air temp. But with the
Looks like
bean
we're gonna
temp,
do
you want to
the
make sure
first
it's a steady climb and it doesn't do it too fast because it'll get scorching and kind of get an acidic bitterness. And as you guys know, we try to make all of our stuff smooth as possible, low acidity. So another question we just had is, what do we do with the beans after they're dropped? Food grade buckets. So this is a 5-gallon bucket, empty. We make sure they're washed between each use, and this is how we store them also. We mark what it is we outline, as you can see from the other buckets over here. We have 2 buckets of our Ethiopian. And the reason why we have 2 buckets, not only would 1 bucket not be enough, but they have to have one. We did the first bucket one day, and it has to rest for 3 to 5 days on its own.
We have that list.
And then we did another bucket of the same roast that has to be a separate rest period because it was done on a different day.
We actually did a list that shows exactly how long
Yeah, this is the list
each
that we
one
came up
has
with
to
after trial and error of what we felt was
rest.
the best.
give it a quick check. See how much darker we've gotten? So right now we are just about a city.
We're at full city right now.
City is a term that this coffee here is absolutely drinkable. It probably has the most caffeine content it will have, but it does not make for a very tasty cup.
It's going to be acidic.
Yep.
It's going to be a little bitter. So with the darker roast for this particular bean, we're going to kind of roast out all that acidity and bitterness. And we're going to let those Java notes, more of a chocolatey note on the backside of it kind of shine through. I just raised the temperature to 210. I cranked up the airflow a little bit. We're at about 13-minute mark. We have a few more minutes before we actually get to that second crack and get the roast level that we want.
We still have beans charging.
And as you can see, still not quite in the darkest phase that we
Yeah,
want.
burn yourself. Starting to look like coffee beans now,
So
right?
this is the bean that I pulled earlier. This is the bean I pulled earlier. You can see the roast level on it. And then this is the one I just pulled, the difference in darkness.
So it's a medium at this point.
So it's still got a matte finish to it. Doesn't really have any oil coming through. So we want that oil to start coming to the surface before we actually drop it.
So this, we hit to get it going. The James just stay cooling. Starts the fan rotating. Because after the beans drop into this, you don't want them to cook anymore. You're done. You want them to cool as quickly as possible. And there is a fan that pulls air and the rest of the shape down here and into this lovely cheese bag. It's blowing cold air right now. Oh, my hands are cold.
We're going to give this about 30 more seconds and then we're going to dump it. Are you guys ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And at this point, where they're pouring out, I end up bringing the temperature back down to 195. We got all the way up to 210.
Sometimes they come flying out and leave like burn marks on me. Oh, we're already up to 10. Whoop, drop already. Okay. Now we got beans in 2 places. And just close this back, or it'll never come back up to temperature.
But that first pack for this is going to be in about 10 minutes.
It's always one that struggles. Alright, so we're just passing the drying phase now. Yeah, your next one is my YouTube channel. This little guy, this little probe, so fancy. So this, you can turn it and catch the beans that are currently going around. Don't get it stuck on the probe. You can take them out and get a good look at exactly how we have the worst lighting out here. Sorry. So you don't just rely on the little window.
Another little behind the scenes knowledge that people don't realize is when we get these beans green, we do happen to come across stones.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So after each roast, before we start to grind, we have to lay the order out on a baking sheet, and we had to spread them out, and we had to pick through to make sure we didn't have any stones in it. It doesn't happen often. So we have about 30 more seconds on this, and we're going to drop. Our bean temp's rising to about 213.8. And we're at the 214. We're going to give it another minute.
Yeah, they got that nice little shine on them when the oil starts to come to the surface. That is like just beautifulness. Oh wait, aw. I wanted to click on the button.
This is our cooling button and our mixing. Turns on both the air and the mix.
Such a beautiful machine.
And here we go.
Sometimes there's like a stray bean in there that likes to just bounce all over the place, but I'm pretty lucky.
Ready?
Beautiful.
So I think we're going to hop off here, guys. We're going to finish this last roast. We do appreciate you coming on. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. If there's a flavor you want to try that we don't have, we're going to try to do this every Friday. We're going to talk to our moderator and come up with a schedule, and we'd love for you guys to come back and join us again. We'll have more topics to talk about. We'll talk about some cryptids, also some of the ideas behind our copy lines, our alien line, how we came up with some of our labels and our characters. Each one of our labels character does have its own backstory. Thank you so much, guys. So we're going to hop off here. You guys have a gruesome day and a sinister night. Thank you.